St. Louis is famous for introducing the world to gooey butter cake. Now, Bluebell brings to St. Louis and the rest of us gooey butter cake ice cream. A rich combination of cake batter ice cream, a luscious cream cheese swirl, and gooey butter cake pieces. Your taste buds will agree. It's the gateway to the best. Available in pints and half gallons. Look for Bluebell ice cream at your favorite grocer. If you can't find it, ask for it.
Go spread the word. When you get a fresh, hot McCrispy from McDonald's and you can feel the heat coming through the bag, don't try to wait till you get home. Always respect hot chicken. The McCrispy, only at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
They take your kindness for weakness, like you some kind of fool. They trying to test my patience. They try to play you, thinking that you won't make
On the intro track of my next guest is his 2017 album, Underground with Commercial Appeal. Ebro states, you don't have to be on the radio and have a career to matter in hip-hop. A lesson artists should adhere to because it's one of the best reasons to have career longevity if you're not just chasing the commercial hit. He's just dropped his newest project, this thing called Life, produced by Oh No, an incredible album. His name is Fokis, and I want to welcome him to the Library with Tim Einenkel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a long time in the making.
For real.
I think the first time I sent that email, the question that came to mind that I wanted to ask you is, what got you into not just rap music, but into hip-hop culture? What were you listening to growing up? And what was that kind of one album that said to you, all right, I want to do this?
Growing up, I grew up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, so hip hop that's was there all the time. And I think my brother played a huge role. You know, he was a DJ and a rapper, so as a younger brother, you always want to follow and do what your big brother does. But I think Big Daddy Kane is what did it for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember writing down the lyrics to Ain't No Half Steppin'. I just like press play, stop, And I don't know, it was that record that it was like, yo, I want to do this right here.
Oh, wow, yeah, yeah.
That was I was a kid, but, I just got hooked just with the culture, the graffiti. I did graffiti as well, and just I did break dance and all of that, so it's just in me.
What was there a purpose for you when you first got into it? Was there something you wanted to contribute to it, but also what did you want it to contribute to yourself?
As far as music?
As far as music, but then also as far as even all the elements that you just talked about.
I mean, just growing up, it was a part of life. Breakdancing, the cardboard, like it was just a part of graffiti. Like these were just the things that you did. I was a DJ as well. But I had that was very short-lived because back then there was no Serato.
Right, yeah.
So you had to go buy records, and I didn't have enough money. So, I used to do parties and not have enough records, so I stopped. But DJing did help me, though. It taught me how to be a producer, go on beat and stuff like that. But it was just something that we did.
Right.
Just growing up, that's what you did. Like, you was into hip-hop or you wasn't.
Right. When did you? So when did the writing bug hit you? When did the all right? I'm going to be an MC.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think in junior high school, or maybe my first year of high school. Yeah, but in junior high school, I actually was in school with Jean Grey.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, she wasn't a rapper back then. She was just so cool person. And I bumped into her like years later one day, and all of a sudden, she was a rapper, and I had never heard her. And when I heard her, I was like, damn, she was dope.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, I think it was like the 9th grade when I kind of started. Like, I got with my partner, shout out my man Mike, and started the first rap group, and, it just kind of kept going from there. So I would say like the 9th grade.
So did you know? I mean, you're obviously lyrically gifted.
Thank you,
listen to all your albums, and it's strong throughout. Was that? Is that natural? Is that like something like, or did you have to like really work on it?
I had to work. I think my biggest asset, like I don't know, kind of looking outside or something. I think it's just like my determination, like. When I want to do something, I find a way to do it. So if I made a song and it wasn't that good or somebody laughed, I was mad and I went back and worked on it to make it good, So that was always been my thing. So I don't want to come out the gate and say, I was a lyrically gifted person. Nah. It's the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it.
The lesson in the intro of the album of this interview, obviously, I talk about the lesson that Ebro talks about. When did you learn that lesson? How was it like? Was it at the early on in your career, or did you just like? When did that hit you?
Oh, that hit me about 4 years ago. It hit me. Wow. Yeah, I went through. Right now, I'm enjoying Focus 2.0. Right, this is Focus 1.0 was, I wanted to be rich and famous. I wanted to be in the clubs. I wanted everybody to know who I was. It was that. And that's a money game.
Right.
It's a money game, and I learned that the hard way as well. And after a while, I had gained a lot of weight, and I was just like done with like the rapping stuff. And I'm also an engineer, so I had a recording studio for many years. So I was just focusing on engineering, making money, engineering on other rappers. And then, I started my little independent label, and I was just doing that. Then I started doing like CrossFit, started losing a lot of weight, feeling good about myself, feeling confident. And then it's kind of like a mixed moment between CrossFit and I was recording and mixing the Barrel Brothers album with Skies and Soiree.
Oh, wow.
And that whole process, like I was a partner on that album as well. So like seeing how, that was done in my basement, recorded in my basement, mixed in my basement, mastered. And then just seeing how, I was getting monthly checks from that. And then seeing those guys go tour to Europe, like it's just like all of those things simultaneously happened, just like clicked for me. It was just like, yo, I could do this my way. I don't have to pay a producer. I don't have to pay a rap. I don't have to pay anybody. I could just do this myself. But more importantly, just do it my way. Because at that time, I had heard of Guilty Simpson, but never heard a verse.
Right.
Most of those people on that album, Oh No, I never even heard of Oh No. But it was just that album. It made me go discover other people, and I was just like, yo, these guys out here doing real music. And they're making a living. And that was it for me right there. That was a turning point.
You talk about that album, and you mentioned the people that are on it, but you also mentioned, obviously, Torre and Sky Zoo. And those are two incredible MCs. I mean, they're gifted with...
Beyond belief.
I had Sky Zoo on for the Metropolitan album, and very fairly, he said, the writing comes naturally, easy to me. That type of thing.
If I may interject, there's very few people, musicians, artists that... Like, Sky is in my opinion, he's one of those guys that it's so easy for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just like effortlessly. And that's like crazy to see, like, damn, how does this guy just like nothing?
Right, yeah. It's and then it comes off strongly.
It's crazy.
So that experience for you in terms of watching these two work as
two
artists,
machines, these two monsters.
What did you kind of take away in terms of that as a lyricist?
As a lyricist, I mean, at that time I wasn't really like rapping. I was more in engineer mode, but when you hear something, you're like, damn, that was crazy. Like, ooh, that was hot. Ooh, But I mean, for me, I just always, those guys are just. They're just like machines.
Right. Before we talk about your music, I was telling you this offline, but I've always loved your album covers.
Thank you.
From Underground with Commercial Appeal to More Than One Way to the new album, this thing called Life. And what really kind of stands out to me, it was that More Than One Way release, 2005, was that the cover like yelled graffiti, graph artists. And more and more as I do these interviews, and I appreciate I really just appreciate graph so much more. Two things. How do you choose and come up with these album covers? But two, what's the importance of graph? And you mentioned earlier, but graph in your life as an artist. Yeah,
I mean, graffiti is a part of my life. So, I still, to this day, I'll take a tag and do a throw up. I was in Europe at all the shows, doing tags and throws. But I don't know. I think for me, a picture says 1,000 words, right? So I just think it's always important to just have something that people could look at and can either just take something right away from it or can break it down as well. And I always want to make sure that it's in sync with the music, And for me, just, I don't know, the Bodega, that first album was just like the Bodega, the Piragua truck. That's like just stuff from my neighborhood, And then the second album is like That's literally my building where I grew up.
Oh, nice.
And that's literally my first car that I had. Like, you know, it's authentic.
On More Than One Way, you know, you get to the track on Throwback, and it features a Cool G Rap.
Oh, yeah.
And when I saw that as a fan of Cool G Rap, I was like, wow, this guy, he's going bars with Cool G Rap. And you do it. Like, that's the thing, you do it.
Thank you, man.
So what was that experience like to work with him? But also, what was that kind of, you know, back to like, what did you take away from kind of watching him work or even listening to that track, you know?
Well, shout out to my man Mike Heron for that, because he drove with me all the way out to Jersey. He made that feature happen. And it was an incredible experience. I remember that was another very important moment for me too in my life, because I went and I saw this big house. You know, I'm just like, wow. You know, G-Rap wasn't somebody who necessarily has super commercial success, you know? Right. But, I mean, he's a legend and one of the top 5. But, you know, just seeing like, man, he's living like this, you know, doing music. But when I first met him, the first thing I did, I was like, yo, G-Rap, I just want to say you the greatest of all time and salute. That's the first thing I did. And then after that, we just got busy. We was just, you know, sitting down. He was recording. I'm just listening. And I'm just like in awe. Like, I can't believe I got a song with G-Rap.
Right.
And funny enough, you know, we was drinking Hennessy that day. Day turned into the evening. And by the time we were ready to leave, I was so drunk. And Mike at the time wasn't driving. So I had to turn back around, and I actually we slept over G-Rap's house.
Nice.
And I actually threw up in his bathroom.
All right.
Word. I threw up in his bathroom. They laughed at me when I came out the bathroom, but it was an amazing experience, man. It just made me feel like, you know, all right, man, you're getting closer and closer. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of made me feel like.
That's stuff. There's a track, Can't You See, off your album, 2020.
Yeah.
And what I really love about it is that you talk about your sacrifices your mother made.
Absolutely.
What, you know, not too many times in music we shout out our mothers, especially. Can you just talk about the sacrifices your mother made?
Oh, man. My mom raised 5 boys by herself. You know, my parents got divorced at an early age, and my mom sacrificed everything for her children. And I saw that. You know, she could have easily got us, you know, a stepfather for us, but she made it work with what she had, and she's the real MVP.
That's
absolutely.
Was there a time that you, when you started sharing your art with your mom, and was she kind of hesitant to be like? My mom, you know, we're from the Dominican Republic. My mom was from there, my father, so she mostly speaks Spanish. So she always looked at rap as like not good music, right. You know. But the highlight that kind of changed things a little bit is I had done a song in Spanish and with a friend of mine, and we actually went to Dominican Republic to do like some shows. And there's a big TV show, like a famous show that we used to watch called Sábado Corporán, which is like just a big Sábado Gigante, but for the Dominicans. Okay.
And we did that show when we was live, and my mother got to see me live on TV.
Oh, that's dope.
You know, so that was like a big highlight for me right there. But when she saw that, she knew that I wasn't playing around. Right. You know, like she knew that I was really serious with this.
Let's turn to your new album, this thing called Life. It's entirely produced by Oh No.
Absolutely.
First off, let's talk about the title. Tell me about the title. When did you come up with it? Was it after you wrote the album, before you wrote the album?
So that project, originally the way this project started was, like I said, I had never heard of Oh No. So when I discovered him, I just did the YouTube thing, and I just found him so interesting. Just as a fan, I was like, man, he's weird, you know? And I just found it so interesting, and I became a fan of his. So I reached out, and I was like, yo, you know, I mixed this project, I did this. You know, I'd love to get a beat. So we did one record. And then I came up with an idea. I was like, yo, man, let's do a project. You produce 3 songs. I produce 3 songs. And then you rap and I rap. And he was like, bet. And, yo, this guy is a machine, too. Like, I sent him one song. He sent it right back. And then he sent me his next 3 right away.
Wow, damn.
And I was, like, in the middle of another project, so I didn't get to it right away. I didn't get back to him till, like, damn near a year later. And by that time, he's on, like, 3 or 4 projects. So he's like, yo, dude, you know, I sent you these verses a long time ago. Like, so we kind of transitioned to the project into him just producing it, which worked out because I was just going through certain things in my life, finding myself. You know, as you get older, you evolve, you change, you kind of realize. I basically discovered who I am and became very comfortable with who I was and who I am now and the man that I'm becoming, you know? And for a long time, I wasn't being myself, so to speak. You know, I would try to maybe fit in to be accepted by these people. Now it's like, this is who I am, take it or leave it, you know? So this thing called life is pretty much that. It's pretty much me learning, going, you know, growing up in the ghetto and all these stereotypes and kind of pressured into acting and being a certain way, but then realizing that that's not really it. So it's like you go all around the block just to realize you only have to go next door. Right. That's basically what this thing called life is about.
You mentioned, Ono is not just a producer; he's also an MC. Is there advantages or maybe disadvantage of creating an album with a producer that actually knows how to rhyme from your perspective in terms of being another MC?
I think so, but then I don't know. Maybe not. I know that there's an advantage when you're an MC and you're engineering. Mm-hmm. There's an advantage. So like a lot of rappers used to love working with me because I'm an MC as well. So like I know. Like, nah, put it this way. Nah, fix this. Nah, change this. You know, but I can't really say for the other one, but maybe.
The track Get Down, it's great. I mean, you take on this persona of somebody robbing a train. You kind of give us insights to the thoughts of what's going on through this robber's brain. Exactly. Can you talk about why did you take on this role, but also kind of the story behind this track?
So that's actually one of the records Oh No sent back. So when he sent that record back with a hook and a verse, so he spearheaded that, and then I just kind of followed suit. But all of that played a role. The very first song that we actually did was this thing called Life. That's the first beat he sent me. So everything just kind of tied in perfectly. And that song Get Down just represents like when you're poor, when you're broke, sometimes you make very bad decisions based out of necessity. And that's basically that. That's basically what that was. Whether it's going out there to sell drugs, going out there doing robberies, that's what that song's about. So
when I heard this line in the second verse by you, I weirdly thought it was kind of a weird way of, interesting way of you expanding on a DMX lyric where he says, I rob and I steal not because I want to, because I have to. And the lyric I'm referring to here that you spit is, I don't normally do this, but I had to. My back is up against the wall, so I don't have a choice. I run around these streets broke, so I don't have a voice. So it's kind of like, I knew what DMX was saying when he first said it, but then you explained it a little more, right? Can you just talk about these lyrics and what do you want your listeners to kind of take away from that?
It's life. That's what I realized. It's just ups and downs. Like sometimes you make bad choices and bad decisions, not because it's just out of necessity. It's like when you're walking when I was walking out the train to get here, I could either walk slow and get wet more, or I could like try to just breeze through as fast as possible, go into things like maybe I might bump into somebody. Maybe I don't mean to do that, but I gotta take care of me and what I gotta do and get to where I gotta go. So some people look at robbery like it's nothing. Right. It's like, yo, what? That's nothing. Let me get that. You know, and that's kind of like sometimes you just feel like that. Sometimes you just feel like, forget, I'm gonna take this. Like, so what? And that's pretty much what it was.
The track Problem and Stresses, you talk about learning from mistakes. What was that one mistake that kind of you made that was just like, was kind of the real turning point, the real life lessons?
I made a lot, and I'm still making them. Many mistakes. Oh yeah, I made a lot, and I'm still making them. But that's the thing. You make that mistake, and then you learn from it. You know, and that's what it is. Like sometimes you could be very reserved and thought out and think and plan and think until the time is right. But when is the time right? Right? Sometimes you just got to go. And if you're prepared, you can take advantage. If you're not prepared, then you learn that, damn, I got to be prepared next time. You know, so I mean, I've made mistakes, you know, sometimes maybe back then I was definitely a little bit more emotional. I'm very passionate. I'm a very passionate person with what I believe in. So sometimes I speak the truth to people about something that maybe we're a part of, and I don't like the way you're moving or the way, and maybe people might take offense to that, but it's nothing personal, you know? But that's just me. I'm a very passionate person. So.
The great thing about this album is that I think you're taking on a mentoring role to those who are listening. But what I love to hear is who were your mentors? Like, who were those people that you're able to, like, these are life lessons they taught you, whether they're fellow artists, whether they're, you know, the dude on the corner, you know, anyone.
There's a lot, but I mean, you know, I always say, like, my three main people within the music and stuff like that was, like, my brother Carlos, my man Jeff, my man Martin. Like, those three guys. Jeff was, like, we call him, like, the sensei, because he's a legendary breakdancer. He's a legendary graffiti artist. He's the one that got us producing. He's the one that got, like, he's like the sensei. But those three guys right there, I always wanted to impress them. So anything that I did, I wanted to impress them. So, like, if I was, like, ever smoking weed or doing something, I would never do it in front of Jeff. Like, never in front of my brother. I wouldn't even curse in front of my brother. You know, it's like that much respect that you have for these people.
Right.
So I would never get, quote unquote, like, out of line. You know, I would only want to impress them so that they can give me, like, the approval. Like, okay, you're ready now, young Jedi, go, you know? So I would say those guys right there. But then there's many other people, man. There's so many people that I've learned from the mistakes that they've made, you know, to teach me, like, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
You know?
I think one person you give credit to on Leap of Faith, you give Ed O.G.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wondering what the story, like, Ed O.G., I've interviewed another incredible artist. What is that story? Why getting that shout out?
Edo's the man. Edo, I met him. I put out an album with Sadat X through my label, and we did a little tour. So I met Ed O.G. at a Boston stop we did, Middle East Club. Cool dude, very nice, very humble. I was like, you know, he's a legend. So I'm like, wow, you know, he's a cool guy. He gave me his number. We did one feature for one of the group things that I have, and we might have done something else. And then I present them the idea, like, yo, let's do a project where I produce it all with you and Shabam Sadiq. He was like, let's do it. So we did it. And then he was like the first guy. I've been trying to tour. I've been asking, yo, I want to go on the road. Yo, I want to go on the road to go to Europe, you know, because I've always heard from, like, Sky and Tor, they always tell me the stories, like, yo, Europe is crazy. They love hip hop. So I'm like, yo, I want to go. And, yo, just like that, I asked Edo, I said, yo, Edo, I would like to go. You know, I get my own ticket. He was like, yo, play your own ticket, and we out. And it was that simple.
Nice.
That simple. So he literally opened the doors for me, you know, and for that, like, he's always the big homie for that. And, I'm very grateful for that, because then naturally, me being the person that I am, I'm always going to go make contacts and hustle and do what I need to do, you know, so that I eventually can stand on my own. But he is the one that opened that door for me, you know?
You have Ras Kass on the track, Believe.
Razzie Kazzy.
And you've worked with him before.
Oh, yeah.
And I was listening to that. I was walking up here a couple of days ago, and I was, you know, at one point that came on, and I was listening to it, and I was like, wow, he just keeps getting better and better. Well, one, this track coming together, I mean, what was that collaboration process like? But also, what was that first Ras Kass joint you heard that said, all right, I want to at least meet this guy, or, you know?
Raz is a machine, man. He's another one in the effortless pile, man. It's like nothing for him. And yes, he gets better and better. Yeah. It's almost like he's like, I don't know, when you hear him, you think he's like 26 years old or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the energy and he loves rap. Like he loves this thing. Oh man, there's so many records. I mean, when the one, you know, the Dre joint, that's crazy. You know, the joint with him exhibit, what is it, Golden State? So many. So like, I got to tour with him, and that was just like amazing as well. Like, wow, I'm here with freaking Ras Kass, you know?
That's amazing.
And then we ended up, he came to New York and he stayed, like, my basement, we call it like the hip hop hostel, because it's like when the rappers and some of the people from overseas come in town, they pretty much they stay in the basement. I got like my studio and bedroom and kitchen set up. So Ras came through. He stayed for like 2 weeks.
Nice.
And we got a lot of work done.
Mm-hmm. You start the album with No Breaks, and you end it with the track, This Thing Called Life.
Yep.
What was the reasoning behind this sequencing of this album? Kind of starting out with No Breaks, ending with that.
It starts from like no breaks, hustle, hustle, hustle. If you do the right thing, in theory, if you work hard, everything is going to be okay. But then you kind of see like, damn, I'm working hard, but maybe I'm just paying bills or things are not going the way I want them. So now I'm going to have to start doing some extra curricular activities. Like maybe I got to hustle on the side. Maybe I got to start robbing banks. Maybe I got to,
Yeah.
And then from like, by the time you get the problems and stresses, when you kind of start like, damn, I'm tired of this. And I'm realizing what this thing is like. And then it kind of takes a little turn. And then, we go on a leap of faith, I believe. And by this thing called life, you got to, you figured it out. You figured out what life is about.
When do you come up with these concepts for the album? Obviously, I think the more, and you've said it, the more authentic you are, the longer your career will be, but also the listener hears that. Like, as long as you're not forcing it. Mm-hmm. You have an album called This Thing Called Life, and I think everyone and their mama could, relate to exactly what you're talking about here. So in terms of concepts, like, where do you go from here? What is
Great question. Great question. So I actually have there's the follow up to that, because again, This Thing Called Life kind of represents like me breaking out of, so the baby's in the womb, and then the back cover of that album is a tombstone. So it's like the beginning and the end, and then everything in the middle. So like now we go into there's a little EP I have coming out called It's a Celebration. It's kind of a different sound, but it's all authentic. It's all me. And I did it with a producer from Switzerland. And then right after that, it's pretty much already done. It's I Kinda Like It Here. And that album, I Kinda Like It Here, represents I Kinda Like It Here, meaning here in Europe, here in New York, here in my mentality, the person that I am, here in my world. I'm very comfortable with who I am. So I kind of like it here, And that project is kind of nutty because it's very different.
Dude, it's been great. I mean, this has been incredible to finally get to talk to you and have this conversation.
Likewise.
The album is This Thing Called Life.
Absolutely.
With Fokis. Incredible album. I think all your albums are incredible.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being on the Library with Tim Einenkel. Thank you.
Thank you, man. If I may just say, I have the vinyl for This Thing Called Life coming. And if you pre-order it before January 1st, you can leave a voicemail saying why life is good, and it will be included on the vinyl. So you can go to IamFocus.com and make sure you grab that.
That's so dope. Thank you, man.
Thanks, my brother. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
Kindness for weakness, like you some kind of fool. They're trying to test my patience. They try to play you, thinking that you won't make a move. I swear they trying to test my patience. Gotta keep you cool, don't let them get you out your character. Don't let your pride get the best of you. Word. They trying to trick you off of the streets. Don't let them trick you off of the streets. Yo, I'm on the edge. Stress is at an all-time high. My patience at an all-time low. I might punch you in the face just for grilling me wrong. Silly nigga, just move it along. I got an attitude, and I don't take no shit. But you could bet you could take this clip. But if I shoot you, I'm brainless. I got a lot to lose. There's cameras everywhere, it's dangerous. It's best to walk away and be free to see another day. Master my emotions and deal with this another way. The jails are filled with niggas that's hard. There's even more tough guys laying stiff in the graveyard. Once you commit, it's no turning back. There's a reaction to every single act. It's best to move smart out here, or you could catch a loss out here. Word. They take your kindness for weakness, like you some kind of fool. They trying to test my patience. They try to play you, thinking that you won't make a move. I swear they trying to test my patience. Gotta keep you cool, don't let them get you out your character. Don't let your pride get the best of you. Word. They trying to trick you off of the streets. Don't let them trick you off of the streets. I'm a man first, so I don't tolerate disrespect. My first reaction is to go right for your neck. Pressure's what these suckers respond to, so I'ma bring it to them ASAP/pronto. Roll up the fronto leaf. I need weed to calm me down, I don't need more grief. I got 99 problems, but how I choose to solve them or revolve them, yeah, that's the motherfucking key. They wanna lock you up for good and never let you free, then turn around and label you a menace to society. Sobriety, I need a drink. Gotta force myself to make moves after I think. These ignorant niggas are like a cancer. Stay away from the bullshit. Man, stay away from the bullshit. A real G carries himself like a gentleman. Be cautious in this world that we living in. They take your kindness for weakness, like you some kind of fool. They trying to test my patience. They try to play you, thinking that you won't make a move. I swear they trying to test my patience. Gotta keep you cool, don't let them get you out your character. Don't let your pride get the best of ya. Word. They trying to trick you off for the streets. Don't let them trick you off for the streets.
Go spread the word. When you get a fresh, hot McCrispy from McDonald's and you can feel the heat coming through the bag, don't try to wait till you get home. Always respect hot chicken. The McCrispy, only at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
On this episode of Plant Killers, we'll explore one nation's most notorious fruit and vegetable killer, bad dirt. What makes bad dirt so bad? The answer? The ingredients. But fear not, true crime enthusiasts. This story has a happy ending. New Miracle Grow organic raised bed and garden soil. It's made with quality organic ingredients from upcycled green waste like compost and aged bark. Unlike the other guys who can't say the same. Looks like bad dirt's murdering days are over, thanks to Miracle Grow. Join us next time on Plant Killers.